Okay, it's probably feeling super weird for you online right now, and you may be wondering, how do I continue to market myself or market my brand in this very strange new world we find ourselves in on social media? So let's talk about what's happening and how you can navigate all this chaos. So earlier this week, we saw on Facebook properties, specifically Instagram, but also on Facebook, that the algorithms have dramatically changed probably on election day. Lots of Democrats were saying, I can't search for Democrat content. My content has been removed for the first time ever. Whereas conservatives are like, welcome to the club. This is what it's been like for us for years. So now there's a lot of fear happening over on Facebook, over on Instagram for all those people who until now felt like it was a very safe, predictable experience. Meanwhile, on LinkedIn, you're probably seeing the arrival of a lot of TikTokers who are exploring new opportunities for them to continue to build their brand if and when TikTok goes away or the algorithm dramatically changes. So LinkedIn is getting crowded and personal, and you're probably not liking it very much because most people think LinkedIn should be about LinkedIn and work and nothing else. So contextually, here's what's been happening. Again, Facebook, since roughly right before the inauguration, has dramatically changed its policies. Hate speech policies are largely out. Fact checkers have been moved from liberal California to conservative Texas. And a lot of people are just seeing really weird content, particularly on Facebook. X is feeling like business as usual since Elon Musk took over a few years ago. It's very favored by the far right. Millions of people, predominantly liberals, journalists, academics, have left X, are largely over on Blue Sky, which is starting to really grow in the last couple of months, has had some growth issues around content moderation, but it seems to be fine for a lot of people. TikTok, meanwhile, is continuing to be in limbo. We know that it's going to be around for at least the next 65 plus days as it searches for a US buyer. However, it's already unavailable in the Apple Store and Google Play because those platforms don't know if legally they can or cannot offer TikTok. But you can still buy TikTok preloaded in the iPhone in case you didn't do it before it went away. And that's about $3,000 on eBay. So what's going to happen next from a social media perspective? Facebook users are probably going to get more and more frustrated and scared and become a lot more passive. Instagram's probably going to get really toxic, and we're going to start to see a lot of snake oil posts because, again, not being fact checked. Misinformation AI content will be rampant across all meta properties, including probably Threads. TikTok will likely be saved, but the algorithm could dramatically change. Some people think for the better. Some people think, nope, it's actually going to probably suck and be a lot more like Reels going forward. X will still be favored by the far right, Blue Sky by the far left, or even just the general left. LinkedIn is going to get more crowded, more personal, and have way more, crappy AI generated content. Consumers are now going to start looking for small, niche-focused social networks that are more stable, more professional, more predictable, and more aligned with their own interests. What does that mean for you and your brand? I recommend that it's time to really start building your reputation on other channels that are predictable, professional, civil, and stable. So we're looking at traditional media outlets. We're looking at going to write for and be on popular blogs and other newsletters on Substack, getting on podcasts, both niche podcasts and popular podcasts, and speaking at conferences and events. Again, it is going to be a very destabilizing year for social media. We saw this coming. We knew that the big five, big six social networks were eventually going to implode in some way, and people were going to go to smaller and smaller niche social networks. That is happening. It's going to be strange, but you can get ahead of it. And I highly recommend building your brand outside of social media, using social media to still connect with people, but really getting off of these channels and making sure that you have a strong website, a strong newsletter base so that you own your relationship with those people and continue to market to them. You got this.